Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome, everyone that's here in attendance in person and those that are joining the meeting remotely. Today is Thursday, October 9th, 2025, and we are here for a work session of the Board of Trustees for Harlandale ISD. I am calling the meeting to order at 6:15 on the dot, and we will use our electronic devices to take roll call. Okay, we do have roll call. Ms. Reese is running about 10 minutes late. We will announce her walking in so that we can have good meeting minutes. We do have a quorum here. Mr. Soto, can you let us know who's here from cabinet and staff, please?
Yes, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees. This evening, we have our Assistant Superintendent for Business and Finance, Mr. Flores.
Here.
We have our Executive Director of Operations, Dr. Hinojosa.
Here.
And back, Assistant Superintendent Curriculum and Instruction, Ms. Casey.
Here.
Yay. Our Executive Director of Human Resources, Dr. Salinas.
Here. Thank you, Mr. Soto. Agenda item 2, did anybody sign up for public comment? Okay, no one signed up for public comment this evening. Moving on to agenda item 3. So the board focused on student outcomes 18.4% of the time in the September work session and regular board meeting. A success is a success regardless of how big or small. As long as we're moving forward, I applaud everybody in the room and all our staff who's helping us get there. So thank you so much. We continue to move forward. Agenda item number 4, the board will conduct a work session with the superintendent and staff. Agenda item 5, the board will discuss a potential transition to a permanent boardroom location at the Morrill Center. Mr. Soto?
Yes, Madam Chair. Dr. Hinojosa will be stepping up as you guys, there'll be a sheet that were handed on your, right in front of you guys. It shows 21 school districts that show that they have a boardroom, and basically the study showed that there's about 3 that don't have a permanent boardroom, which would be Lavernia, Marion, and us. But Dr. Hinojosa will go into detail, and then he has a presentation as well on page 4.
Page 4.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Dr. Hinojosa, whenever you're ready, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. So as Mr. Soto mentions, this is just a follow-up from, thank you. Appreciate it. A follow-up from last month's board meeting where the information was presented. So we did go back with some of the feedback that was provided and some of the questions from the Board of Trustees in terms of looking for a permanent boardroom and professional development room at Morrill Elementary. So we did go back with some of the renderings, and so the 2 renderings look very similar. If you remember back to the one information that was provided at last month's board meeting, with 2 exceptions, we did go back, and we will get into kind of an abbreviated cost analysis here in just a bit. Excuse me, but the corrections or the revisions, that were made to the renderings, where it's on the archway, where the stage is, it was the Morrill Elementary School letters signage was replaced with Harlandale Independent School District. And as we've done with the other repurposed campuses, any of the signage or anything that we were to remove that has the namesake on it, we definitely will keep that, and we have those in storage for someday to continue to make sure that we honor the memory of the original schools, and we will do that as well with this one. The other addition to this rendering is the 2 school district logo medallions that were placed, one above the archway and then one that would be on the dais. And again, those will be reflective. On on this particular angle, you can see the one above the archway, but you couldn't really see the one in front of the dais. So that's the reasoning behind the two different renderings. Any questions on the renderings?
Ms. Ortiz?
So I know that this is going to sound odd, but is the dais going to stay permanently in place, or is it portable? Is it, I'm just wondering that layout. So obviously the chairs we're going to put in there, but I want to find out if the dais is going to be permanently installed into the floor, or is it portable?
That's a great question. So we've looked at two options. So it will be permanent, a permanent fixture into the floor. The one option that we didn't show, because it didn't show really well in renderings, is we've also measured the space where the stage is inside the archway. So that would be another possible spot. But to answer the specific question, it would be anchored, and there's about 60 feet from the back wall to where the dais would sit. And so the professional development and exactly how you mentioned where the chairs are at, that will be mobile. So the dais would stay, and any professional development that would stay or that would take place would be where the chairs would be. So that would be the part that we would either bring tables in or move the chairs around, but the dais would stay in its position.
Anybody else? I have a question, if I may. What time frame are we looking at?
We were going to address that if it's okay when we go through the cost estimates, because it's going to depend on what we're looking at in terms of like how quickly we would move towards it, and then be able to start using it as a functioning board space.
Okay, thank
If
you,
it's okay.
Dr. Hinojosa. Mr. Soto?
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, as you guys see the rendering and, you know, we got to have pride in our schools and just looking at it. Again, we can add maybe our mascots from all our schools around the buildings. It's going to be, you know, we have some canvas space there. Or, you know, there's some ideas that we can share with each other before we move forward on some of these things. But, you know, this is just a rendering that we put to, you know, that the architect was able to help us out with just to kind of give us the gist of everything. But we still can do some things to brighten up the place.
Yes, sir. And that's an excellent point, because the two screens that you see that are on each side of the archway, if I can, I'll reference those, but as I'll go to this, to the kind of the cost analysis. So those two screens, so we did go with Ms. Martinez from Information Services. She got with two vendors to look at different options to be able to not necessarily have the motorized screens there, but also kind of have like some larger televisions, so that way to be able to have any information that we would like to present to, in this case, like the screens, but it would be on TVs. And then we would also have, and you can't see it from the angle, but there would also be a TV mounted on the far wall. So as the Board of Trustees are sitting there, y'all would have a TV, so that way you'd be able to see the vote and not have to be turning around and it's an inconvenience for y'all. So we would, those things kind of have been put into this cost analysis. So if you remember back to last month's agenda item, we did put the cost analysis of what it is for the maintenance department, the information services department, and then any maintenance work that needs to be done by our warehouse for the setup and their tear down. So the yearly cost would come in a little bit over $18,000. So that's kind of on average, again, an approximate of what we spend when we have the setup where we have the board meetings traveling. If we were to go, and to your question, Ms. Cavazos, as far as like how quickly we would go through it, if you look at the total expense, you see the range for the permanent boardroom to be between $75,000 to $100,000. Again, it would just depend on the dais that we would choose, so that there's some flexibility there. The technology right now is looking at, again, with the two vendors that came in to do the walkthroughs, gave us some ranges. So on average, about $45,000 to be able to equip it with modern kind of updated technology that would be in place. And then the furniture of $10,000, that would be as it's converted into professional development space. That would be added tables and chairs, and what we would need to equip that facility to host and use it as a professional development space for our staff. And then the two medallions, the two logos on the dais, and then also on on the back wall, those would come in about 3,000. Then again, there's some flexibility, as Mr. Soto mentioned. Those are just renderings. So again, if that's the decision that's made that we're going to use that space, then of course we would still have meetings to decide what we wanted to, finalize and have. In terms of the finances for it, in talking to Mr. Flores, we would have finances available to be able to move to be able to have this in, as soon as it's approved. We would definitely put some more concrete things together to be able to present to the board and to make the final decision as far as what we wanted inside and what we wanted it to look like.
Thank you,
Madam-
Dr. Hinojosa.
Ma-
Give me 1 second, Mr. Martinez. Ms. Reese is here joining us. Ms. Patty, you got the time? Thank you. Hello, Ms. Reese, how are you? Mr. Martinez has a question.
Yes, can you hear me? Sorry. My question is, I know you mentioned that y'all reached out to 2 vendors. Are we gonna open it up to others just to make sure that maybe we get a lower price somewhere else, or?
Right. Yes, sir. That's a great question and a great point. What we did was just for the sake of timeliness, to be able to have some numbers for discussion tonight, we did that. So in terms of the dais for the furniture, we reached out to 3, and 2 kind of responded with some rough estimates, and the same with the information services. But like any of our other projects, we're definitely going to look to see what we're going to be the most cost effective.
Madam Chair, Dr. Nosek, since we have some new board members, can you give them the process on how we have an architect and we go out and they get ranked and they're able to do some of these services for free? And it doesn't mean that they're going to get the business, but can you go into detail on that so we can all be
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. So when we have major projects like we've had with our bond and with our maintenance tax notes, we will have put on an RFQ and an RFP for architectural and engineering services, and we rank those kind of based on projects. And so we already have a pool of architects and engineers that have been approved for various projects to be done that are bond related or maintenance tax notes related, and this would fall under those 2 components in terms of funding. So what we do at that point, sir, is that's how we were able to get these renderings, is we kind of have on-call services for anything related to bond projects. And we're able to reach out to them to provide these services. That doesn't mean we're going to use them for this work, or the construction companies that we definitely want to put that out and get a list of services for any construction work that we might need to do that we can't do in-house. But for every project, we go back to that original list. We have revised it and re-ranked everybody once since then, because it was done 3 years ago. So in fairness to all those that scored highly and have been vetted and will suit the needs of our district, we go back and we will go back and retabulate and evaluate based on experiences and kind of to meet the needs for our district. So we do that periodically, but through the procurement office, we will go back and revisit all those submissions that were sent in for bond 2022.
And just as a reminder, or let me backtrack. Dr. Hinojosa, just for clarification, and as a reminder for us, the board here, this agenda item is only to determine a vote on Monday, whether we move forward with a permanent, Wednesday. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Wednesday, we're used to Monday. Wednesday, as to whether we vote is a yes or no to have a permanent board room at Morrill. If that motion carries, then after that, we move forward with cost and time and put it out there for vendors and all that. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. That's
If it doesn't pass, well, then that's it. Okay.
right. Yes, ma'am. So this is just to give us the go-ahead to start that process, to be able to see where we would land. And as Mr. Soto mentioned, so we did research to see which, I know the question was how many school districts do not have a permanent boardroom, but in looking at a list of the area school districts and just kind of the surrounding area, that we only found those 3 that they might have had a permanent site, which was Lavernia and Marion. So they might have had a site, but they didn't have it set up as with Deus. They would have a set up something similar to what we do, but they did use the same site. But as far as having a specific boardroom and kind of with the setup that we discussed in the renderings, there was 21 of the school districts, and that's the list you have in front of you. So they do in fact have a standalone boardroom with dais and outfitted, and of course the school district pride. But it was just those 2 along with us that do not have a permanent setup like that for a boardroom.
Okay. Um, so we're one of the three that is just traveling along.
They may not travel. They, I think, have a permanent site, but they don't have the setup like with the renderings or where they have the dais with the seating and the technology. So
Okay.
it appears that they have a table set up similar to what we use.
What
But
we
it
have
seemed
right
like
now.
it was a permanent location.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody with
Madam
comments,
Chair?
questions? Yes, Mr. Mancha.
On the, Mr. Soto, on the arch that's in the cafeteria, is it Morrow? Is there any way we can, keep that and put Morrow Room? That way it stays and then it's still Hardendale Independent School District room. I think, that'll make the family and the people that, I mean, cause it's the original name of our district. The first high school that was ever made was Morrow. So I would hate to put that away and save it for one day that we might need it. I think if we would just put Morrow Room, and it's still Hardendale Independent School District Boardroom. But I think that would be something to consider.
Yes, sir. Yes, these are just like preliminaries. So when we bring more renderings, we'll bring options and Dr. Nosa can take note of that and we'll bring some more options to the full board. And like I said, we still we should add some mascots, right, from all our other schools. And of course, this isn't the Morrow building, so we do need to respect that for sure.
Anybody else? Mr. Resendez, you want to say something?
Just, it's not on the agenda for Wednesday, but I think it could be for future meetings.
So,
to
yes,
take
so the
action.
only thing
They're
we're
just
voting
studying,
on
yeah.
is whether we are going to decide to vote yes or no on having a permanent place.
No, that's not on.
On Wednesday?
No. Yeah. So,
I'm
but
completely wrong. I'm
it's just,
completely
I think
wrong.
this is just for discussion, and then if y'all want them to go forward, then I think November they can come back and
Okay,
give clear direction.
okay, I'm sorry. My apologies. I kept thinking that on Wednesday we were going to vote whether we wanted to,
Go forward with the project or not. yeah.
yes.
But you could have it for November for sure.
Okay.
I mean, we're not voting
Yeah.
today, but
But it's coming if that's what we want.
yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for redirecting me.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
one other question. Mr. Soto, if it is fiscally responsible, I would like for this, if this goes through, to please consider having a camera facing the speaker. Because when I first started, it was only the camera was facing the board, and so there would be some weird things that were said by the speaker, and the camera was not facing, and I would get those questions, well, who said that? And I said, can't you see that? And we couldn't see that. And only if it's fiscally responsible and we move forward with that, I'd like for that to be a consideration.
Yes, good point. Just like right now, it's not facing Dr. Nosa, which is a speaker, it's just facing us. So good point, ma'am.
Any more questions?
Madam
comments?
Chair, so we'll put it as an individual item for the November, we could put it for the individual work session, since that'll be the first one, or we can wait for the regular board meeting as an individual item. So I'll just follow your lead on that.
Okay, Mr. Soto, we'll discuss. Thank you. Any more on this agenda item? No? Okay, moving along, agenda item 6. The board will review and discuss a submission of the state waiver for exception for the bilingual education program and an ESL waiver for the 2025-2026 school year to the Texas Education Agency. Ms. Casey?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board. What we are asking is for the board to consider and approve the submission of the state waiver for exception for the bilingual education program and ESL waiver for our ESL program for the 25-26 school year. This is a waiver that we submit every year. It's asked to approve the submission for an estimated 13 exceptions for the bilingual education program and 27 waivers for the ESL program. This means that 13 of our bilingual teachers do not have a bilingual certified certification in a classroom. So it could be an educational partner who is not certified. It could be a position where the teacher is getting certified, but they are not yet certified. And 27 waivers for ESL could be our English teachers in secondary who are English certified but do not have an ESL waiver. They're pending challenging that exam. The district has taken all reasonable steps to secure appropriately certified teachers for bilingual education and ESL instruction, but have not been successful in that. As required by TA's application process, the district will implement an ongoing comprehensive professional development plan to enhance the skills of teachers serving emerging bilingual students, including uncertified teachers working with alternative language programs, and may include additional teachers working with these students. The district will also implement a comprehensive recruitment plan to secure appropriately certified teachers for bilingual education and ESL instruction. And as required by TA application process, at least 10% of the total bilingual education allotment funds will be specifically allotted to support these plans. Dr. Fedon will be presenting our bilingual education program review, which will also include all of our efforts and what we're required to do since we are applying for the waiver.
Thank you, Ms. Casey. Any comments, questions for Ms. Casey on this agenda item? Nope. Okay. Oh, yes, Mr. Luna.
Did read it earlier, and she did say, I know we get the personal report. I know that we didn't have 20-something positions available. So I was wondering, I guess the majority of those that are being filled bilingual are EPs, right? Educational partners. So it's like, I know we have some from Spain also that are in that mix. So can we get a breakdown as to exactly who's in those rooms?
Yes, sir. We'll send it out.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on to agenda item 7. The board will review and discuss the purchase of library materials for the collection of development of Harlandale ISD libraries. Ms. Casey?
Yes, in compliance with the law, the collection development involves identifying, selecting, acquiring, and evaluating the collection of library resources to fit the needs of all of our students, future and current students. The following criteria is in alignment with our EFB local instructional resources library materials policy. In compliance with state law, Harlandale ISD provides a public list of all library materials that have been proposed to be procured by the school library, accessible for review by staff, students, and parents for at least 30 days prior to final board approval. Parents, students, and community members were welcome to ask questions, provide feedback on material list that is attached by submitting through a feedback form. All comments received within the 30-day comment period will be reviewed and considered prior to finalizing the purchase. There have been no comments within the 30 days from September 12th, 2025 to October 12th, 2025 of the posting of library materials to be considered.
Thank you, Ms. Casey. Any questions on that? I saw the list. That's a lot. A lot of them. Yes. She's gonna give us a book report on all of them.
Madam Chair. I have a
Yes, Ms.
question.
Ruiz.
Ms. Casey, were these, so not selected, but how were like the comments and the feedback requested sent out to the community?
I believe that was on our website, and there is a form. It's a process that our district has had and we're required to have. So any parent, student, or community member can go and question any of the books listed. And upon that, it prompts our review process, which is another process and policy that we follow.
Thank you.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Casey, just quick. And of course, this is books for the whole district, right? It's not elementary, middle school, it's all together.
That's correct. This is a complete list for all of our libraries.
Anybody else? No? Okay, moving on to agenda item 8. The board will review and discuss information on donations to Harlandale ISD. Mr. Flores?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, members of the board, Mr. Soto, Superintendent of Schools. We have two items for the month of September, donations. One of them to the Office of Human Resources for new employee orientation, and another one for the Office of Human Resources for substitute appreciation. The first one's for $1,000, and the next one was for $900. So this item is being brought to the board on Wednesday for approval.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Flores. Yes, sir.
Mr. Flores, that Harvey Nasium donation, when are we going to bring that to the board and what was that dollar amount?
The amount was 56,000 and can't remember exact amount, 56,000 and change. It is actually a donation made to the Education Foundation, and then the foundation is
About the books.
Yeah, it's once that we receive that by the school district, we'll bring that to the board.
And that was purchased to buy, I mean, we use that funding to,
Yes, so there is the sixth grade reading challenge. So it was utilized specifically to purchase books for a reading challenge across the 4 middle schools.
and Ms. Casey, how are those kiddos doing with those? I know you're eating a little Snickers there, Ms. Casey, but
They're doing great. In fact, the hurdle we've now encountered is they're ready for the incentives that we promised for reading the books.
so we're trying to scrounge up some money because we did incentivize them to read books. They have the final, Mr. Resendez, if I get out of hand, but this is part of the donation. We did incentivize them. They're going to have a college visit. They're going to have a college game. The top one's going to get the iPad, a shirt of the university they choose to go see. And but now we have to incentivize them for finishing each one of the books. So I know some of them already have finished a couple of books, and this is outside the scope of the school. This is on top of what the reading material that they're required to do for our school. So very proud of our sixth graders and our ELA teachers for sixth grade.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Anybody else? No? Okay, moving on to agenda item 9. The board will review and discuss RFQ 260001 HISD Energy Efficient Project to the Texas Universal Lighting at no cost to the district. I want to know more.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. So for Wednesday's meeting, we will be seeking approval for, as Ms. Cavazos read. So this particular item, we're asking two things. One is approval to be a part of the CPS SCORE program, and that program actually is one that will track our energy efficiency in terms of retrofitting some of our fluorescent lights back into a little bit more energy efficient and more cost-effective LED lighting. So being able to be a part of that type of program is where it'll really benefit us in the long run, not just one because of the energy efficiency, but also monies back to the district through a CPS program. So for this particular RFQ, we did put that out for a bid, and we had 4 companies that did provide proposals. After we evaluated and we went through the tabulation process, there was 2 companies that came out scored identically the same. So we had site visits with both of them, and then once they submitted their final proposal, Texas Universal Lighting did come back with a proposal saying that they would be able to, in first phase, work on both high schools and some athletic facilities. And at no cost to the district, they would be able to retrofit all of our fluorescent ballasts with LED lighting. But yet we'd still be able to be a part of the CPS program because they are on CPS's list of I forgot the term, sorry, of approved vendors, approved list to be in this program. So all the companies were a part of this approved list, but all of them came in with an associated cost to the district with the exception of this particular vendor. So they will be able to, again, through first phases, be able to work on both McCollum and Harlandale High School with some whether it's interior or exterior lighting for parking lots to classrooms to the cafeterias, the entire facility at no cost to the district.
Thank you, Dr. Hinojosa. Question, how much would it cost the district if we did not have, we would not be involved with this program or partnered up with this program?
For both high schools, that's not included anything. The proposals that were submitted were around $250,000.
Thank you. That's a lot of lights.
Yes, ma'am. It is.
And
But we walked all the facilities, and that's how they were able to determine that we would be able to qualify for it.
Mr. Soto?
Yes, Dr. Hosa, let the trustees know in the community is they're providing the material and the labor. And then the old fixture, what happens to the old fixture?
The old fixture, one of two things, we could either have them dispose of it, or we would be able to dispose of it back and really recoup a little cost from the metal that was in it and any of the wiring that, so that is going to be determined once, if in fact we do go with this company. So that hasn't been ironed out yet, but they did have both options in their proposal. But like, as Mr. Soto mentioned, this would be at no cost at all from a standpoint of materials and labor to the district.
Madam Chair. So Ms. Waters just informed me that at your desk or your chair, you should all have this information, which is a little bit of information about the program. That's my understanding. So
So I have a question, and I haven't looked at this. What's the time frame on that? If we move forward with this?
If we move forward, so they will schedule it out. They're just ready, in talking to them, they're ready for the okay. But we haven't put a schedule together, but we can definitely bring that back to the board once we do finalize things. If it's approved and we do move forward with them, the first thing we're going to do is set a schedule and a calendar together, because what they do is they will work, and really all of them do that, but what they do is they work around to not interrupt instruction. So they do things and they don't want to interrupt any instruction or testing at all. So the majority of the work will be done in the evenings or on the weekends, where we don't have students on campus or staff on the campus. So that's why it would take a little bit of coordination to be able to schedule that. So the only thing we would do at that point is just make some maintenance or custodial our staff available to be able to work with them or allow them to come into the campus.
Thank you, Dr. Hinojosa. Any questions or comments for Dr. Hinojosa? Mr. Soto?
Madam Chair, since we have two realtors on our board and they are very familiar with LEDs, so there's twofold on having LEDs throughout our district, right? Is the output of electricity that an LED bulb gives out in comparison to a fluorescent bulb, right, realtors? And then secondly is how long hard our air conditioners have to work to cool off what the energy that the fluorescent bulb is giving out. So I'm excited about hopefully not just saving money from the retrofit to an LED, but our air conditioning system not working as hard.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Ms. Ortiz.
Okay, so I have a question, and it would be only to retrofit existing light? And what if we need additional lighting? And I specifically know that in the courtyard at McCollum at night, it is extremely dark there. There's only that one. And I'm just saying, this is just my personal experience. And so I know that the LED lights give off a tremendous amount, because we switched our lighting system at the baseball park to LED, and it does. It's a tremendous, tremendous difference. But I just wanted to find out, what if we need additional lighting? Is that going to come into play, or we're just doing existing right now and then see what comes up?
Great question, ma'am. So the conversations that we had with the different vendors when we did the site visits is, once we do decide on a company, on a vendor, we're going to do a very detailed site visit. And so they're going to do some some foot candle measurements to make sure that that's provided adequately. And so the conversations at that point have been, or up to this point have been, that if they're going to retrofit any of our existing, but if that is what the scope of work would be for this company. But we've also had the discussions of, if we do run into those situations where we would need added foot candles or a little bit more lighting, then it would be something that we would discuss in terms of whether we could do it in-house, or if it would be something that we would add as a change order to the work.
Any other comments, questions? Nope. Okay, moving on to agenda item 10. The board will review and discuss RFP 260002 HISD elevator preventative services to Metro Elevator Central Texas for an estimated annual cost of $60,000. Funding will be from the general fund. Dr. Hinojosa?
Yes, Madam Chair. So for this particular item, we'll be seeking for approval. So as you know, when, with our elevators, we have to have yearly inspections. Over the past decade, I would say, just as a guess, we've had two different companies that have serviced our elevators. And so what we're trying to do is just streamline that process in terms of having one elevator company that we can go to, not just from the standpoint of customer service, but also this would really narrow down the charging and the pricing that they would have to comply with. So for our preventative maintenance, our annual inspections that we need to do for TDLR, or any call outs that we might have, that would all be a part of this. So again, similar to all of our other RFPs or RFQs, we put this out for bid. We did have, I believe, 3 vendors that submitted proposals. And after vetting them and going through reference checks, the Metro Elevator Central Texas is the one that was the best fit for us and serve the needs of the district to be able to meet the needs. So this approval would be just so we could have one company that we could rely on to be able to do our elevator services and our inspections.
Sir, the trustees had asked how many elevators more or less we have in our district.
Yes, sir. I apologize if I did. We have 19 elevators throughout our schools, and it's elevators and lifts. So we have lifts that they put in at the new renovated auditoriums when the board, with the maintenance tax loans, we renovated the auditoriums. They put lifts in, so we have 3 or 4 lifts that are included in this as well, because those have to do the inspection. So we have 19 total.
Thank you, Mr. Soto and Dr. Hinojosa. Any questions, comments for Dr. Hinojosa or Mr. Soto? No? Yes, Mr.
I'm just
Luna.
wondering how long we have the warranty. I know it's Stonewall Flanders, that elevators has been in the 60s or the 80s, came in the 80s. So that's still kind of old. So what's how much the cost going to be about the maintenance and upgrade of those at Finley building?
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I can find out how long that elevator's been there, but all of them are required to have the yearly inspection. And if there are any deficiencies, they are required to be fixed at that time. And so we haven't had any issues, knock on wood, right, with that one. And when we have, again, what made it a little bit more difficult for us is that we had multiple vendors. And so we would have to kind of get on their schedule to be able to address it. And so sometimes we would have, so rather than to avoid that and have to wait on somebody to get on their schedule, we would just have one vendor that we would reach out to.
Anybody else? No? Okay, moving on to agenda item 11. But before we adjourn, I just want to remind our trustees, please get with Miss Patty. We are trying to set up a team building for the required hours that we need for 2026. And we have a date in mind that the coach is available. We just need to know if we're all available. We don't get credit unless we can all attend. So please, before the meeting or after the meeting ends, check with Miss Patty, please. Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting? Mr. Luna?
I just want to give kudos to whoever arranged the agenda because they did match this time. I know it's a little pet peeve of mine. The numbers did match to where we're at. I guess I was grading it or the teacher me came, but thank you, whoever did it. I don't want to mention any names, but I'm so glad it matched today. Thank you.
Put away your red pen, Mr. Luna. Put away your red
I
pen.
know, I still can't retire.
Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I
Madam
move
Chair.
that we adjourn, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Salazar. Is there a second from
I
Ms. Reed?
second.
Thank you. Can we use our electronic devices for the vote? Okay, motion to adjourn tonight's meeting passes. It is 6:53. Thank you, everybody.